From Nutrien Ag Solutions, this is Senior Meteorologist Andrew Pritchard with your Canadian Prairie weather story for Monday, May 9th, 2022. Well, we talked about it all last week, and we are here now at another very active week, especially across eastern portions of the Prairie. Take a look at temperatures here on Monday morning. You can kind of see the flow of the atmosphere. We've got warm air advection in advance of a big trough that we've got parked across this region. We've talked about if you want to bring a lot of precipitation into the Canadian Prairie, this is how you want to do it. Build a deep trough here that digs into the Pacific Northwest of the United States. Cooler air coming in on the backside here. Again, warm and humid air coming in on the east side from the south. That is going to set the stage for a lot of heavy precipitation, especially across this region, portions of southeast Saskatchewan into central and southern Manitoba. Over the last 7 days, well, it was a relatively quiet week across much of the Prairie. We had corridors of very light shower activity. Much of the precipitation last week north of Highway 16 with a relatively dry void here across portions of the northern Prairie and the Canadian Prairie here. Just a bit of a lull in the pattern. Soil temperatures continue to thaw and warm above freezing across the Prairie here with several days of rather mild weather last week, mild and dry conditions across the Prairie. But we take a look at the satellite picture, you'll be able to see the flow here. Trough digging in across the Pacific Northwest, across the western United States. You can see the cyclonic flow around the base of that. A lot of moisture coming in across portions of southeast Saskatchewan into central and southern Manitoba. Some very intense thunderstorm activity early this morning across portions of the Dakotas into northern Minnesota. I apologize for the glitches here in the animations, but here you can see the big area of showers and storms just to the south of the Manitoba border. This is going to be working its way into the area as we head through the next 24 to 36 hours. We'll look at that with the NAM model. We'll go ahead and click through time with this one. We'll bring it back here to Monday morning. There we go. We'll let it reset. Early Monday morning, showers and storms ongoing south of the Manitoba border. These lift north as we get into the late morning hours into the mid-afternoon. Not expecting much in the way of severe weather. Low risk for maybe some hailstones here across southeastern portions of Manitoba. You might hear some thunder. It'll be rather blustery, so an unsettled next 24 hours across, especially southern and central portions of Manitoba, perhaps into southeastern Saskatchewan as well. But let's go ahead and bring it back here. This is through the day on Monday. Showers and storms lifting into southern Manitoba. This will be about noon, getting into the late afternoon, and then on into the early overnight hours. This system quickly, the area of low pressure quickly lifting off to the north and to the east, so that we find ourselves on the backside here. Just some cool rain, some blustery rain as we get into the overnight hours across southeastern Saskatchewan into central and southern Manitoba. This system continues to fall apart and pull away from the region. We get a little bit of a lull, not a completely dry lull, just more in the way of isolated showers as we head through the days Tuesday and Wednesday. So as we get into the end of the week here, Thursday and Friday, we'll start to see almost a repeat here. Another big storm system organizing off to the south, lifting into southeast Saskatchewan and central and southern Manitoba, again, late week. So from the NAM verbatim, again, the NAM model is a fairly high resolution model. It's going to give us a very specific forecast, and we know that it's not going to end up exactly as the NAM spills out here, these very specific corridors of precipitation. But what I want to point out is just this general corridor, which we'll reaffirm with some additional model guidance here, where we could see 3 to 5 inches of precipitation kind of from Regina and Weyburn, and then off to the north and east from there into central Manitoba, and then including all of central and southern Manitoba. So here's the NAM model, just verbatim. You can see the heavy precipitation in the east, more scattered activity as you make your way off to the west. This is the national blended model, so this takes a blend of some of our NSEP models here. And again, that's where you're seeing the multiple inches of rain from southeast Saskatchewan into central and southern Manitoba, with more in the way of scattered precipitation, lighter precipitation off to the west. And then finally, the European on the left, GFS on the right. Both of these including the very beginning part of next week's storm system here. But once again, just reaffirming, southeast Saskatchewan into central and southern Manitoba are the big winners here. If you are looking for precipitation, this is where we're talking about multiple inches of precipitation, 40, 50 millimeters, maybe locally higher amounts. The GFS here spitting out some, 70 and 80 millimeter precipitation totals. And then you head off to the west from there. Again, scattered, much lighter precipitation across central and southern Alberta, western portions of Saskatchewan. This is how you do it. Big trough across the Pacific Northwest, across the western United States into western Canada. Very complex pattern. We've got multiple storm systems kind of embedded within this that are all kind of pinwheeling around this big trough off to the west. And we'll go ahead and animate this. You'll see the Monday system come flinging out of the Dakotas right at the very beginning of this loop. Let me go ahead and animate this. We'll bring it back to Monday. There's your Monday system real quick. Just blasting out of the Dakotas into Manitoba and then off into the Hudson Bay by the time we get to Tuesday. Rather complicated pattern here continues as we head through Tuesday and Wednesday. Again, we're kind of in transition there, still dealing with some troughing, still got a frontal boundary across the region, so we could still see those scattered showers, but it's this one that comes around the base of the trough midweek and then lifts into the prairie here Thursday into Friday and Saturday that brings the next chance for some heavy precipitation. Again, probably to eastern Saskatchewan and central and southern Manitoba. This is another eastern prairie look as we get into the weekend, another dose of heavy precipitation, and we'll have to talk about where we're going from then as we kind of lose some confidence as we get into days 7, 10, and beyond. So finally, we'll look at the the precipitation forecast, just verbatim once again. This is your Monday system that comes lifting out of the Dakotas here and then quickly into the Hudson Bay by Tuesday. Light shower activity as we head through Tuesday and Wednesday, rather disorganized, hit and miss, generally light and not very impactful as we head through the middle part of the week. But here's late Thursday, getting into Friday. Another high impact storm system as we get into the end of the week here. We'll talk about specifics with our daily report that comes out here to get a little bit closer to that. So here you go, you're heading through the weekend. This is your Friday, Saturday, and Sunday forecast. We'll be talking about another high impact storm, likely in the east, maybe some impacts further to the west. And then the active pattern likely continues on into the middle part of May and slightly beyond that, but losing some confidence in the individual storm systems. So we'll keep it with the two this week, your Monday storm system and then another one here late week with scattered light precipitation in between. Finally, just pulling the ensemble in here, this is the European ensemble forecast, the probability of picking up more than half of an inch of precipitation through the next 7 days. So this takes us through Sunday, May 15th. And of course, a half an inch of precipitation, we're going to exceed that through much of this corridor, but it kind of tells the story between the likely to see heavy precipitation, 2 rounds of that here early this week, and then again at the end of the week. And then the story here as you head further to the west, not completely dry, but not looking at the multiple rounds of significant heavy widespread precipitation across central and southern Alberta, western Saskatchewan, talking about maybe more frequent but lighter scattered hit or miss precipitation across these regions. Still a chance for some locally heavy precip though as well. Maybe you get an area of showers or a thunderstorm here that kind of parks itself over some of the areas. Certainly possible we could see some locally heavy rainfall in the west, just much more likely in the east. Your winds are going to be periodically gusty. We'll take this kind of day by day here. Of course, going to be on the gusty side in the east today as that low lifts through the area quickly. We could see those winds gusting 60 to 75 kilometers per hour across central and southern portions of Manitoba. As we head through the day on Tuesday, looking at those winds, generally anywhere from 30 to 45 kilometers per hour as we head through the afternoon hours. Again, waning as we head through the overnight hours. Wednesday, even a little less gusty here. We're talking about those winds maybe 20 to 30 kilometers per hour as they gust during the afternoon. But as we get toward the end of the week, looking at our Thursday and Friday storm system, maybe lingering into Saturday, we're going to turn the winds back up here, especially across the east. Looking at those winds gusting probably 60, 70, maybe 80 miles per hour as we get into Friday and Saturday. Your temperatures over the next 10 days warming up quickly in Calgary from the single digits today. We'll be back in the upper teens as we get into the end of the week. Very similar look in Edmonton. Saskatoon, your temperatures here in the mid to upper teens, getting close to 20 by the end of the week there. Regina, very similar, mid-teens for your highs. And then in Winnipeg, warming up. A little bit of a flip with the pattern here. Cooler in the east, cooler in the west, warmer in the east as we get the week started here. Those temperatures in the mid to upper teens, getting close to 20 degrees Tuesday through Friday in Winnipeg.